Hello and welcome to another Donger deck discussion with your host, Sith Holocron from the Dongers of Runeterra. Today's deck is going to be based around Vi, because I miss playing Vi. My favourite deck way back when in the beta was by Heimerdinger. It was a staple when I played tournaments and pretty much dwarfed and destroyed the rest of the decks. It was the meta numero uno for very, very, very long time until they nerfed it off the Runeterra universe altogether. They changed Heimer's Dongers, which is a turret, which is why we're called the Dongers. If you don't know why we're the Dongers of Runeterra, the Dongers are Heimer's turrets. And Vi is still a good character, but she hasn't really found a good partner. And I think I might have found one going completely the opposite way from before. So let's have a look at my deck. And it's Diana Vi. And if you've watched any of our Donger deck discussions before, you know we always go from the very top right the way down to the bottom. But we're going to start up here. We're only using 14 spells and 26 units. But look at the curve. We don't have anything at 0. 1 for 8. 14 for 2. 15 for 3. And 3 at 5. This is the cheapest deck to manage, run, and perform from mid-game on that I've ever built. And with that low cost curve, I think we've got a deck that's actually pretty solid. And it's all Nightfall. It's allowing your Nightfall triggers to go off and off and off. Diana will level up really quickly. Because all these cards are super cheap, you will get a level 10 Vi really, really cheaply, probably by round 7 or 8. She will be at maximum. You fire her out as an attack. Pretty much everything else that you're putting out before you throw her out is getting Nightfall as well. You will have a quick fire 5-3 Diana fully loaded, leveled up at the same time to snipe out something bigger, because when Vi hits for 10, if you haven't played her, because she's not really a champion that's being played that much, when it strikes a unit while attacking, you deal 5 to the enemy nexus. Come on, guys. That's you putting a unit right through, smashing something to bits. She's tough. She's a challenger. She can do anything and then does 5. That is better than decimates. She is an amazing character. And the fact that she can do all this anyway, you add +1 to her every time you play a card. There's the bottom of the deck, 5, and there's all the 3s and the 2s and the 1s. She levels really quickly. Now, this deck's got about a 57% win rate in the 7 or 8 games that I've played. One I totally misplayed. The other one I took him down to 1. Just couldn't get the last bit of damage in. But that was, I actually lost to a parlay. So I couldn't really do very much about it. I had nothing to stop the spell. So outside of that, this deck is real fun to play. It's real fun to play. So let's go through the deck. The Gift Giver is fantastic, and in the deck for one reason. It gives you gems. Gems will then allow you to play this first, because you can't do it in combat or in response to another spell. Do that, and every other thing that says Nightfall in the deck will trigger. That's fantastic. But if I run Leona in Daybreak decks, I run the full Solari package. If I run Diana, I run the full Lunari package. So Luna, the ancient word of the moon. This is the card you want in your opening hand. When I'm summoned, create a Dusk Petal Dust in hand, which is this little 1-cost spell. Same cost as a gem, but much, much, much better. Because the next unit you play with Nightfall, play this round, costs 1 less. And we are trying to be as mana efficient and as cheap as chips as possible. But sometimes you've just got an awful lot of Nightfall units in hand. This one will allow you to drop 1 even cheaper. Gaining your Nightfall. This is fantastic early doors. This is even better mid-game. Because if you're playing this, once you drop, say, this card, What you want in hand, really, are Vi and Diana, a Lunari Duskbringer, and something like the Shadestalker. That's pretty much your dream mulligan. If you could go, I want 4 cards. You want the Duskbringer, you want Diana, you want the Shadestalker, and you want Vi. And that's the 4 that you hard mulligan for. Any one of those to start off with, but especially these 2 upper drawers, they are the key to this deck. This deck is very champion-esque based. Diana being a ridiculous person when she's leveled, Vi being even more ridiculous. These 2 ladies know how to rock a town. So level them up as quickly as you can. So that will put out that. So if you played that on 1, you then have 2 mana. The Dusk is 1, making Diana 1, which then gives her Nightfall, because she's a Nightfall card. She gets Challenger. On round 2, you can just take something off the board right away, like a Teemo, for instance. Goodbye. Thank you very much for play. That's really good. The whole deck just curves really lovely, as well as the Solari one, but it just doesn't go as deep. So then I decided we're going to need some spells in here. Guiding Touch is a quite underrated card, I think. We need to keep our Nexus health up until we level our champions. So it's very good to heal your allies. Really, really good. This is fantastic on Vi, because yes, Vi has got 4, but you know, if she gets hit by a 3, all of a sudden she's maybe now a 6/1, and something can kill her. Really good for 2 mana, just to put her completely back to full health again, yet adding an extra to her power. And if your Nexus is hitting lower levels, do that, and then you get to draw a card, which is really excellent. I forgot Zonite Urchin, my apologies. So this is a card that is normally seen in like Ezreal decks, is also seen in Jinx decks. You discard a card to draw 1. That's been sort of redone from one of the most recent patches. Nice and simple. You discard a card to draw 1. You play her down. You got to pick one out of your hand. You get a brand new card. So card replacement, she replaces the card that you lose. So absolutely nothing there. So if you've got something that isn't critical right now, and you don't think may be critical in the matchup, get rid of it. Draw another card that'll help you win. This card needs elusive. You want to hold this until you can Nightfall. So again, there are cards that can do this. You can Guiding Touch and then go into this. You can Gem or Dust to make her elusive, because elusives are not huge at the minute. They're really, really not. So to be able to get a couple of these out at elusives is doing 2 chip damage most of the time, and will need to be stopped, because she's got better stats than my favourite elusive in the game, which is the Green Blade Duo. She's a 2/1 that increases her power for each card that you put down. She's got 3 health, for crying out loud. That's ridiculous. Like, that is ridiculous. She's a better stat line than Ezreal. Just stats. 1 mana cheaper, 1 more of this, same thing here. Madness. But then he does give you a fleeting Mystic Shot, and then once he goes off, he does ridiculous things. It's just horrible, which is why Ezreal costs 3 in as a champion. Anyway, I think this is one of the key cards in the deck. And then I've put in Mystic Shot, same as we were just talking about it, but I've only put 2 in. And there's a very good reason why I only put 2 Mystic Shots in. It's because of the same reason I only put in 2 Get Exciteds. They both started as 3s. As I played the deck a bit, I was going, I don't really want a lot of big spells in here. Get Excited has sort of gone out of the meta a bit. Mystic Shot is still in the meta, which is pretty good. I toyed with the idea of putting in the Thermo Beam, but I think just taking the 2 or the 3, both as 2s ofs, so that is just 2 to anything. You can put that to the face. That is anything. You can put it to the face. We are pretty much trying to be as aggressive as possible. This is pretty much a slow-burning aggro deck. So you can fire that to the Nexus, you can fire that to the Nexus. You know, you discard one to get 3, and that's brilliant because that will get rid of him or a Jinx or whatever, kill off a Heimer. Mystic Shot will do lots to little things as well. And then one of my favourite spells in the game, this is also a Nightfall card. So drop a unit, fire it out, pull somebody up, and then throw this on to get your Nightfall thing, which is again another card. And another card is like, it's so good. It's so good. So we get another card from here. We get another card from Guiding Touch. We get another card from Pale Crescent if you Nightfall. But you're also giving your unit 2/1, which is fantastic for 2 mana. That's ridiculous. That's utterly ridiculous that you can increase Ezreal to a 3/4. Not that Ezreal's in the deck, but you can certainly make her a 3/4 as well. In fact, it wouldn't be. It would be a 4/3. So she's excellent. Crescent Guardian, I think, is fantastic. I mean, look at this guy's head. It's in the shape of a crescent moon. He only costs 3. He's 3/3. Until you Nightfall him, and now he's granted 5/3. Now he's a 5/3 Overwhelm unit, which is just, excuse me, it's what? This, and then the Shade Stalker. These are things that need to be stopped and dealt with, because they deal up damage really quickly. If you're playing up against like an ephemeral deck that normally only has like 1 or 2 health, if this comes down as a 5/3 Overwhelm against a 2/1, it's doing 4 damage to the face, which is why he's in the deck. And I would almost say he'd be excellent in your hand. He'd be excellent in your opening mulligan. But you can see there's so many things here that are Nightfall, but there are also a lot of things that aren't Nightfall. So we've got enough to kind of keep going, and then by turn 4 or 5, you should be able to have leveled up Diana quite easily, and made sure that your Shade Stalker and your Crescent Guardian, with all the cards that you've been drawing all the way through, have got their keyword triggers activated. Hush. What can I say about this card? I keep going between 1, 2, and 3s. This was the last card in the deck. I think it's excellent. I think it's really excellent. And I think it's really excellent because not only does it silence a unit, it creates another one itself for free. You get another fleeting one. So, I adore cards like this. I genuinely think they are brilliant, but I don't want my hand full of Hushes. They're not good. And I also see people playing Hush on like turn 3 against, for instance, this, to stop it being elusive. It's only silencing it for the round, and they go, oh yeah, I'm happy to drop the 3 mana on this to take out a 2-cost unit with something like a 3/1 spider. And that's not how you play this game. You want to hush champions, you want to hush dragons, you want to hush things that are catastrophic to your board state. Taking 2 damage from the Lunari Shade Stalker is not early doors round 3 a reason to use Hush, because that was their entire mana, and I managed then to put down a card and get Diana, and then smacked his spider to death, and ended up doing 5 more damage. So it is how it is. Hush is too good not to have in the deck, mind you. It's a super card, especially like game where you've got at least 6 mana yourself. There's a lot to kind of go on to there, and I just really like the card because you keep getting the shh. So let's go through the rest. As I said, Daybreak, Solari, Lunari, Nightfall, and she just invokes, but some of her invokes can be fantastic. She's got the opposite stat line to the Priestess from the Solari package. She's a 1-2, but the Lunaria is a 2-1. But the 1-2 guarantees you a 4-5 for a 6, and there's some very good cards in that bracket. Invoke, you're just kind of waiting for. The 3 just come up and you get to choose whatever one is the best for your win rate. So Overwhelm units are quite good. Cheap sort of things. Stun a couple of units for 3 mana is really, really, really handy in this deck. So go for things like that are cheap. Try and keep them under the 3 to 4 cost. And you'll be doing really well with Lunaria Priestess. And then a card that I think is fantastical. Can you imagine dropping this down and putting this beside either the Shadestalker or the Crescent Guardian or Diana, or God help us all if you have a Vi out? You grant the supported ally +2/+2. And then when it dies, which it's going to because it's a 1-1, you get 3 of these. And once you get this out, it's imperative that you get this out, because this makes all your dreams come true with Nightfall. You drop 1, you put a Nightfall unit. You drop another. Next round, you drop a Nightfall unit. You can maybe drop another Nightfall unit. Round 3, after this goes, drop this. Maybe you can drop 4. Now you've got a leveled Diana. And if you've done all that, 1 and 1 is 2. 1 and 1 is 4. 1 and 1 and 1 is 7. You're 1 card off leveling up Vi. Then drop Vi and win the game. You want this to die so badly because you need the gems to literally put the rest of the things up. But as you have saw, there are Mystic Shots and Get Excited, some things you can do that then drop them all down that are cheap. We also get the dust from the Dusk Bringer. And that leaves us to the final 2. This is my flex card. I'm not so sure that it should be in here, but it has won me 3 games, so it's probably going to stay. You grant an ally 1-2 and give it Overwhelm. Vi with Overwhelm. The Shadestalker with Overwhelm. Diana with Overwhelm. And her quick attack. You know, if you think about what we've got here, these guys don't do very much. So we're now looking at our units that give us something fantastic. Diana has quick attack and challenger if you've leveled her up. Right? She gets +2 and challenger. Now she's challenger Overwhelm. It's even good on the Crescent Guardian because it just bumps him up from a 5-3 to a 6-5. The Priestess, you don't want to put it on, but can you imagine putting it on this? So we've got Overwhelm units, we've got Quick Attack units, we've got Elusive units, and the Elusive unit is even good to put it onto. And then it replaces itself. Because it's a slow spell, you will want on your attack to be hitting with Overwhelm. If you do this, then every single card that's got Nightfall also triggers. And then we end up with Vi, who will normally come out very, very close to leveling, and a nearly leveled Vi will end the game completely. So that is the code for this deck. This is Diana Vi. This has got some potential. It needs a little bit of a tweak, but that's what you guys watch these videos for, right? Find it and improve it, and that makes me happy inside. My name is Seth Holocron. All the relevant details on social medias, how to like and subscribe, and all that sort of stuff are in the pinned comments. Thank you very much for watching, and until the next one, Dongers out.